New York's night was strangely quiet, deep, cold, and wrapped in falling snow. The clock had just struck 2:30 a.m., yet the city still pulsed with life. Street lamps cast their yellow glow on the drifting flakes, making them look like tiny stars falling from the sky and settling on the deserted streets. In the middle of that soft yellow haze stood a young man, a backpack hanging from his shoulder, his breath turning into mist with every exhale, and his eyes filled with a mix of fear and confusion that could stop any passerby and make them wonder. He didn't know where he was, which direction to go, or why this vast city suddenly made him feel so incredibly small. That moment itself felt like the kind of hook that pulls at the heart, an image that makes you pause and think, who is he, and what is about to happen to him on this long, cold night? Ollie had come from Pakistan for the very first time. That morning he had woken up, filled with hope, his first day at the university. New faces, unfamiliar accents, and the thrilling realization that he was finally in the city of his dreams. All day he roamed around with his new friends, tall buildings, bright billboards, fast-moving crowds. Everything felt like a vivid dream he had stepped into. But as the night deepened, exhaustion replaced excitement. On the way back, the chaos of the subway, the confusing maps, unfamiliar directions, and the sudden death of his phone battery chipped away at his confidence. The very light that had dazzled him a few hours ago now seemed harsh, pushing him deeper into fear. He held his hostel address on a slip of paper, but even reading it felt difficult. He didn't know the language well, didn't know who to ask for help, and didn't know how to navigate a place that moved faster than his thoughts. Standing alone in the middle of that frozen night, he felt his heartbeat racing again, till suddenly a taxi stopped beside him. The door opened slowly, and an elderly man stepped out. He wore a worn-out brown coat, a wool cap, and had a gentle glow in his eyes that softened the harshness of the cold wind. The man looked at Ali with quiet understanding and said, "Son, are you lost?" His voice carried an unexpected warmth. Ollie hesitated, unsure whether to trust a stranger at such an hour. But something in that tone made him nod. The old man took the address from Ollie's trembling hand, glanced at it, and said, "Come, I'll take you. No one should walk alone on a night like this." Ollie felt a strange sense of relief rising inside him, and he stepped into the taxi. Warm air rushed over him the moment he sat down. The old man handed him a cup of hot chocolate, as though he had been expecting someone exactly like Ollie to appear in the cold that night. "Drink this. It will help." Ali accepted it, surprised by such kindness in a city known for its speed and indifference. After a moment, he asked the man's name. "Johnson," he replied. "Most people just call me Mr. Johnson." Ollie found himself opening up, talking about university, about Pakistan, about how lost and overwhelmed he felt. Mr. Johnson listened with the patience of someone who had lived through the world as storms and learned how to calm others in theirs. The journey wasn't easy. Snow had blocked several streets, forcing the taxi to take long, winding detours. Police sirens echoed in the distance, signal lights flickered, and each corner seemed more deserted than the last. After some silence, Ollie gathered the courage to ask, "Why do you help strangers this late at night?" Mr. Johnson's eyes shifted toward the windshield. His voice, when he finally spoke, carried a quiet ache. "I had a son. About your age. He came here years ago. One night, he got lost. I searched everywhere, every street, every corner, but I never found him." Ollie felt his chest tighten. Mr. Johnson continued softly, "Ever since that night, whenever I see a young man lost in this city, I see my son in him. Helping them, I guess it makes me feel a little closer to him." Silence filled the taxi, heavy, emotional, but strangely comforting. Ollie watched the snow swirl outside, realizing that even in a city as overwhelming as New York, there were hearts that still carried warmth, still carried stories, still carried wounds they treated with kindness. But fate had one more challenge. Just a few blocks from Ollie's hostel, the taxi sputtered and came to a stop. The fuel gauge blinked empty. Mr. Johnson sighed with a sad smile. "Well, looks like we walk from here." Ollie's stomach knotted as he stepped out into the biting wind. The cold struck like needles against his skin, but Mr. Johnson walked steadily ahead, motioning him to follow. Snow crunched under their feet. Streetlights cast long shadows behind them. Twice Allie slipped, and each time Mr. Johnson's firm grip pulled him back to balance. Slowly, through the swirling whiteness, the outline of Allie's hostel appeared. At the entrance, Allie's eyes filled with gratitude. "Sir, I can't ever repay what you've done." Mr. Johnson placed a gentle hand on his shoulder and said, "You don't owe me anything, son. Just make me one promise. When you see someone lost someday, help them. That's all I ask." With that, he turned and walked away, his figure blending into the snowy night like a quiet memory returning to where it belonged. Time moved on. Ollie graduated, found a job, learned the rhythms of the city, and became part of its endless motion. But he never forgot that night, that warmth, that man. On snowy evenings, he would find himself thinking of Mr. Johnson, wondering where he was, whether he was still out there guiding lost souls through the cold. Then, one evening, as Ollie walked home from work during the first snowfall of the season, he saw a young boy standing exactly where he had once stood, shivering, confused, clutching a piece of paper, eyes filled with fear. Something inside Ollie stirred. He stepped forward, placed a steady hand on the boy's shoulder, and said the same words that had once saved him. "Are you lost? Don't worry, I'll take you. No one walks alone on a night like this." And in that moment, Ollie realized something profound: Mr. Johnson had never truly disappeared. His kindness had simply passed through him, living on in every gesture, every act of compassion, every stranger guided out of darkness and into warmth. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this.